The guy's on a roof. Members of the crowd are screaming the guy has a gun. Apparently the Secret Service and or local police had seen him before with a backpack. Apparently they called it in to higher ups. More than once, twice. Apparently, law enforcement, Secret Service and or local police saw him 30 minutes before the shooting. If Donald Trump hadn't turned his head, it would have been a head kill. It would have been a headshot. He'd be dead. Now, we've heard a lot of things from our friend Dan Bongino, who was Secret Service and knows what the hell he's talking about, that there's been a resource issue related to President Trump and related to the amount of protection he's received. We've heard other reports that the Secret Service had to send some of the Secret Service that would normally protect Donald Trump to a Joe Biden event in Pittsburgh. I don't know. But we damn well better find out. And other issues too. The idea that there's a public debate through leaks mostly on who's responsible for the area outside the immediate zone of protection by the Secret Service, the fact that they're still debating it is shocking. What the hell? It ought to be like a military operation. Boom, boom, boom. You have responsibility. The idea that there isn't a helicopter up there, or at least a drone? A drone? I have an idiot neighbor who uses a drone to spy on his neighbors. He's a complete a-hole, but nonetheless, a drone? The military use drones before they move into areas to see what the hell's going on. They have such specialized drones that they actually have technological advice that can determine if people have weapons through heat-seeking mechanisms and so forth. The guy's on a roof. Members of the crowd are screaming the guy has a gun. Apparently the Secret Service and or local police had seen him before with a backpack. Apparently they called it in to higher ups. More than once, twice. This is breaking from ABC News. Apparently, law enforcement, Secret Service and or local police saw him 30 minutes before the shooting. Now, folks, look. We can't have Keystone Cop crap going on when you're protecting these people. It just can't go on. And I think there is something to the fact that we have all this DEI hiring going on rather than focusing on merit. Certainly that's a contributing factor. I mean, think about it. If people aren't at the highest levels, I'll give you some examples. You look at the departments of our government. What is Pete Buttigieg doing as head of the transportation department? The only background he has in transportation is he's ridden a bike. So why was he selected? We know why he was selected. Why was Kamala Harris selected as vice president? Because of her brilliance? She did something profound? No. We know why she was selected. There's that. And then you have the normal inertia of the bureaucracy, including in the military. We've had the worst generals that one can imagine. Milley? Look what happened in Afghanistan. Look what happened in Afghanistan. It's a disgrace. Milley comes out after in testimony, I did not want us to do that. I told the president, but hey, pal, you resigned. You had a big pension, but you didn't want to resign. You liked the title. And what comes with it? My fear is they're going to have an independent investigation. What's going to change? Are the DEI hires going to change? No. And the rhetoric's not going to change either. Maybe they won't use Hitler this time. Maybe they'll use something like Mussolini. They've done that too, you know. The media will never change its stripes. It's gone from covering up for Biden to now where it is today. And you've already heard little bits of, will there be retribution by MAGA? That's what we have to fear. Well, Donald Trump contributed to the environment, says George Stephanopoulos and this hideous Martha Raddatz, and on and on and on. They're back at it this morning. They're back at it this morning. And here's what I know. They will hang on every syllable that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth, looking for anything they can hang on to say, see, See, there's Trump. Newsbusters, Grabian, and others have done a fantastic job of putting montages together. Played some on radio last night of how many times Donald Trump has been called Hitler, or the Democrats have called for violence. They talk about January 6th. You compare Donald Trump's speech on January 6th, where he specifically told the crowd, and he didn't call the crowd there, he went to the crowd was there, but where he specifically told them, yes, but protest peacefully, which they always cut out because it destroys their narrative. Just like when he offered 10,000 armed National Guardsmen to protect the Capitol building. They keep trying to lie about that and punch holes in that because it gives the lie to their propaganda about January 6th and Donald Trump's so-called role. And even when Biden gave that pathetic speech in which he didn't apologize and took responsibility for nothing, when he's the leader of the pack, the examples that were given, he didn't give examples about the violence in the streets the last 10 months with the Islamists and the Marxists. He didn't talk about how Jews have had to run for cover, how they couldn't go to class, how synagogues are being graffitied, and even now these imams that are going on. He never mentions them, not once. It's all on his watch. And his pathetic response to all that, he doesn't mention that his base consists of, among others, Black Lives Matter, radical, violent activists, Antifa, radical, violent activists, Islamists, radical, violent activists. He doesn't mention any of that. Or the war on the cops. The Democrat Party has a hugely violent past, from slavery and the Confederacy forward. He's the head of the Democrat Party. He could have tamped this down a long time ago. He still didn't tell his party to cut it out. He still didn't tell the media to cut it out. That's his media, even though they want him gone because they're afraid he'll lose.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levin TV.